Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is Dark Season 2 Episode 6. So at the end of last episode we had Adam giving Jonas this mission. He is going to break the cycle. Obviously I think Adam is manipulating him completely here. But apparently this jump that Jonas is making is going to break the 33-year rule, which is really cool. You know, there's this 33-year rule and now they're going to break it. That's a great like literary device, creating a rule, and then when you break it, it makes it a huge deal. So will we actually see Jonas go and meet Michael, and then who knows what will happen? The timeline is just completely messed up. Or is this all a manipulation and Adam has just sent him somewhere wild, like another 33 years back, or just somewhere where there's no chance of him ever interfering again, you know? But of course we know he will grow up to be the stranger and find a way out somehow, but we don't know kind of the horrors that the stranger has been through. We saw the stranger say things are happening the way they've always happened, so you know Jonas is on this path. And then we see potentially Adam crying. I don't know if there's tears in his eyes or just part of his condition, but we see Adam there and he is potentially crying, maybe because he knows something difficult for Jonas is coming up. So that's really off-putting but also exciting for the show. So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon page. Over there you can find 1 week early access, so you can get next week's video right now. You can also find polls so you can vote for what's next, and a full-length timer-based version of this where you can sync up your own footage and watch along with me. So yeah, let's just jump right in.
Wo hat alles angefangen?
Now have a look at this.
Die Dinge begonnen. In der Vergangenheit? In der Zukunft?
There's not really such thing.
Dass der ganze kranke Scheiß aufhört!
Werden wir überhaupt jemals in der Lage sein zu wissen?
Yeah, what was like the inciting incident? This is cool, seeing it all run backwards.
Nur unterschiedliche Worte für ein und denselben Moment.
Micke? Micke!
I mean, that's the starting incident from our perspective. Are things changing in this opening? I feel like they are a bit. I don't remember seeing those bugs. It might just be because I'm more familiar with the first version, you know? Oh, that was cool. How it transitioned from the stranger's back into the eyes. Where is he? He seems much happier and content here. Oh, is this a replay of episode 1? Yeah, sniffing the milk. This feels like episode 1.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen, wir Schlafmütze.
Is this slightly different? I don't remember Michael being here.
Nicht vergessen, Katharina und Ulrich machen heute ihre Party. Komm nicht wieder so spät zurück, okay?
Ja.
Oh, and he knows.
Also, ich muss dann los.
The classic yellow coat. He knows this is like the last time he's ever going to see him, but he can't say anything.
Willst du es nicht wenigstens versuchen? Für mich.
I can't quite tell what they're talking about there, but is that kind of why she cheated? She wasn't getting what she needed from him? Oh, he's actually here?
Ich muss noch so viel machen heute. Ich bekomme meine Tage und ich seit...
It's so weird seeing them all before everything starts, you know?
Ich glaube, ich bin krank.
Oh yeah, look at him. Yeah, he's covered in eczema and things.
Scheiße. Von allen Tagen musst du dir ausgerechnet heute aussuchen?
Oh yeah, it's the party. Yeah, Ulrich and Hannah, they weren't getting what they needed.
Kommst du nachher?
Oh, okay, 33 years since that. Since him coming into town, was that?
Wo sind denn die Kinder?
Oh, is this where she found out about Bernadette? Okay, yeah.
Soll das jetzt immer so weitergehen? Dass du mir nichts mehr glaubst?
Oh, so that's already happened, but she still doesn't have that trust, okay.
Weil ich nichts von dir kriege. Nichts.
No one's satisfied, are they?
Kennt ihr die Geschichte von der Frau, die hier ertrunken ist? Wenn das Wasser so klar ist, dann kann man da unten noch ihr Kleid sehen.
Someone drowned in the lake. Okay, let's see if that comes up. That could be a legend from like 1920 or something.
Kommst du heute Abend?
Denk schon.
Oh yeah, they were still together at this point, weren't they? This is the summer they were together. Ah.
Was ist das?
Seeing the origin of that. Okay, that's cool.
Das ist der heilige Christophorus. Das ist der Schutzheilige der Reisenden.
Of travelers. Oh. He knows that's all happening. There's no missing signs yet.
Ultimate Fistbump?
Testbolle da hinten bloß nicht an, der hat die Röteln.
Yeah, don't go near him. He's not covering up his scar that much.
Ist, dass Martha voll in den verschossen ist.
Hört auf. Komm, wir nehmen dich mit und setzen dich am See ab.
So are they not officially together at that point? Or is it is it just the start of their relationships, you know? That's confirmed it to him, both the signpost and that interaction. What? Oh, she was fine. Oh, okay.
Magnus?
Du hast dich nicht bewegt und ich...
Bit of heroism there from him, seeing someone drowning and going in to help.
Würdest du nicht auch manchmal gern wissen wollen, was als nächstes passiert?
Especially for Jonas.
Manchmal so ein Gefühl. Als ob gleich was passiert.
Is she having visions? The dream? I thought she might have lent him for a kiss there, you know. Don't you want to know what's going to happen next, you know?
Wieso hast du eigentlich eine Regenjacke dabei?
Na, weil es später regnen soll.
Is there some other reason he bought it? That yellow raincoat does stand out a bit. She could quite easily see him. You'd always think, you know, it'd be great to see those moments from another's perspective, you and your crush, how she responds afterwards.
Alles okay?
Ich dachte, ich habe noch Zeit.
I thought I had more time.
Wie kann man Zeit haben, wenn sie eindeutig dich hat?
Okay, yeah. We're all controlled by time.
Das ist irgendwie anders.
Yeah, he really is. I was just thinking, are they going to kiss here? And that's how the relationship starts. It's kind of like grandfather predestination paradox for their relationship.
Ich finde, wir beide passen perfekt zusammen. Denk nie was anderes.
So their first kiss, it wasn't technically the first time that Jonas kissed her, but it was the first time she kissed him. The other two seeing this. She's not gonna feel the scar though. Right there.
Ich muss jetzt los.
Could that be like the first kiss from her perspective, but the last kiss from his, you know? Timelines are running backwards for them. I'm thinking like River Song. I love this, that huge lens flare. Got chills.
Ich muss pinkeln.
Du, mach doch einfach schnell einen Baum.
Yeah, just seeing his young self.
Hannah? Hallo.
Hannah realizing as well.
Ich hatte nur gerade ein Déjà-vu oder sowas.
Yeah, of course she was. We're seeing the start of the flirting between those two. Okay, we've got like a one shot here. Yeah, you see the tears in his eyes. No one walk in, that'd be too creepy. Why is he hiding though? I mean, it won't cause a paradox, him interacting with his younger self, I don't think. But I guess he doesn't know that from his perspective.
Und ich finde übrigens toll so. Ich meine, du siehst gut aus. Mit den Haaren.
Yeah, the start of Bartosz's flirting as well.
Lola, ich bin's. Ich möchte, dass du etwas für mich herausfindest.
Okay, he's got a connection with Waller. And she's gonna be extra close because they kissed earlier, but he never actually experienced that.
Hey!
Oh, look how friendly they were here.
Oh, das ist mein Lieblingssong. Ich muss tanzen.
Yeah, it's kind of awful seeing Katerina like this, knowing what she's like now. Yeah, you're seeing those little connections and moments. Not too late, is he? If they do meet, don't you dare cut away like last episode.
Jonas? Bist du nicht eigentlich bei den Nielsens?
Oh.
Was ist denn mit deinen Haaren?
Yeah, it's grown longer. Was that Marta realizing his longer hair earlier as well, actually?
Ich weiß es.
Was?
Yeah.
Warum hast du das gerade gesagt?
Weil ich es weiß, Papa. Ich weiß alles.
This isn't the reason he does it.
Nielsen ist.
This doesn't spook him so much that he does it and he's trying to save him, but he actually caused it.
Oh, das ist gemein.
Oh, schau mal, die kleine Süße.
Die kleine Süße, das ist mein.
Es nicht zu tun.
Was nicht zu tun? Jonas, ich habe keine Ahnung.
Lüg mich nicht an, okay?
He didn't even have the thought until now.
Hast du den Brief schon geschrieben?
Welchen Brief?
Den Brief,
Oh my god.
exakt in der Minute, in der du verschwindest.
You might not even have to write it, you can just put a new envelope, put that directly in.
Versprich mir, dass du es nicht tust. Versprich es.
Does he believe he has to do it now to stop, to not mess up, like, the sanctity of time?
Danke.
He doesn't even realise. That music cue where she didn't quite kiss him. Yeah, he doesn't actually know what she means. Yeah, his hair's much shorter.
Ich habe sie nicht gefunden. Jemand hat sie mir gezeigt.
Wer?
Du.
Took him into the cave.
Papi hat doch so viel Geld.
Bla bla, auf zu quatschen.
What version of him, though, you know?
Wir waren uns alle sicher, da ist jemand.
War da jemand?
What about this vision we see of Michael with all of like the oil on him? Is that Noah watching? That silhouette looked like Noah's hat, you know?
Los, komm, lauf!
Oh, is that version of Jonas watching? Oh, I couldn't quite see if he had the scar. He must have.
Aber dann warst du plötzlich wieder da.
Schnell.
So he must realise something in between here and now where this has to happen.
Aber das ist unmöglich. Ich habe das nie getan.
Not yet.
Vielleicht bist du gar nicht hier, um mich aufzuhalten, um mir überhaupt es zu zeigen, was ich...
Yeah. He never even had the thought until now.
Nein, das kann nicht sein. Das kann nicht sein. Er hat mir gesagt, dass ich den Ursprung verändern kann. Wenn du dich nicht umbringst, wird nicht...
If Adam was crying, this completely explains why.
Nicht passiert. Dann wirst du nicht geboren.
He does it to save Jonas.
Nicht nur ein kleiner Teil eines riesigen Geschwürs, das viel größer ist, als wir uns alle vorstellen.
Yeah, that's so true. He would never have been born. I didn't even think of that because he would never go back.
Gott irrt sich nicht. Er hat einen Plan. Für jeden von uns.
Is that someone coming in the door?
Lange auf diesen Moment gewartet, dass wir uns wiedersehen.
Wer bist du?
He doesn't even know.
Er hat dich angelogen. Er hat dich exakt hierhin geführt, um genau alles wieder so auszulösen, wie es immer passiert ist.
Nein, das kann nicht sein.
And this is where she recruits him into being the stranger.
Ich habe die Welt ohne dich gesehen. Glaub mir. Sie ist nicht das, was du erwartest.
I've seen the world without you.
Nicht nur um dich und um Mikkel.
She's seen that timeline?
Ist das jetzt die Apokalypse?
Not quite yet. Give it another year.
Wenn morgen die Welt untergeht und alles neu beginnt, was würdest du dir wünschen?
Wish for him.
Eine Welt ohne Winden.
Oh yeah, they had this conversation before, didn't they? Back in '96. Peter going back to Bernadette. Someone watching? We've seen the stranger in that spot before. Oh, okay. This storm is a great atmosphere, great setting. See, is this dream that they're constantly having this their first time? Well, Bartosz is at home, not at the party. The Endless Loop, that's the title of this episode. Nothing's changed. Was Eric already missing at this point? Will we get to see Eric a little bit, I wonder? I don't think he was because we never saw the poster. Okay, we're seeing this again. Seeing a bit before, will we see a bit after as well? Is there anything else to this?
Lieber Jonas, wenn du das liest, ist alles bereits unwiederbringlich geschehen. Es kann nicht mehr geändert werden.
He's got to come back in a few months as well to lead Mikkel in.
Du hättest es ihm sagen können. Du hättest ihm sagen können, was seine Aufgabe in all dem ist. Auf welchen Weg du ihn wirklich schickst.
Who's this?
Nicht mehr lange. Dann beginnt der letzte Zyklus.
She kind of looks like Hannah. Let's see a bit.
Müssen Opfer bringen, Magnus.
Oh! Who was that then? Who was the woman? That's Magnus. So he's part of Sigmundus as well. Guessing that was Francesca. Oh, they just put unknown, even though they did say it was Magnus. Okay. Okay, so that was episode 6 of season 2 of Dark. So it did actually work, you know, Jonas ended up where Adam said he would be, but then he can't change anything. I mean, I should have seen it coming. I mean, I know he couldn't change anything, but the whole predestination paradox with Michael, his dad, that was just awful. But it was also great to see all of these characters before the events of episode 1 and seeing kind of where they were and, you know, all these things that we already know about the characters, but we see them kind of start here, like the bit of flirting between Hannah and Ulrich, and then obviously the flirting between Marta and Jonas, and then the kind of twists on that it was our current Jonas who went over and kissed her, and that creates like a weird paradox with the relationship, because it only started because the older Jonas kissed her, you know, and then at the party she makes the move on him, and that's where he thinks the relationship starts, but she thinks it starts back then, you know. So we start off the episode and it's very much like episode 1. I don't think it was quite, because I think very start of episode 1 was we were seeing the hanging, and then we saw Jonas wake up, go downstairs and make himself cereal, but that was post the death, and that was like the few months later. And then this one we actually see it's the day before or the day of everything happening. So we get Mikhail, we get him there talking to Jonas in the morning, and then them all interacting there, and we see like the little seeds of Hannah's cheating start. Well, not like her cheating, but we see, you know, potentially she isn't satisfied in the relationship, but also we see Mikhail, you know, he's seeing little things here and there, like Jonas pick up the yellow coat, which he knows, and him just looking out the window. I thought that was because obviously he knows what he needs to do later in that day, but he didn't quite yet. But yeah, he notices like the yellow coat and everything. You know, the yellow is a really big theme in this show, and I was, you know, thinking a bit more about any symbolism behind the yellow, or what the yellow could mean. I mean, usually, you know, yellow can either be happy and joyous, you know, like the sun, or it can mean like danger, like bees were yellow. Like bees have yellow stripes as a warning, and like the nuclear waste barrels, they're yellow as a warning. And then, you know, we see Jonas show up. There's a storm cloud overhead. He shows up at his home and he's wearing the yellow. Is that almost like a warning not to go into the home? I don't know. Like the yellow represents that danger is near, perhaps. I'm trying to think of like other times we've seen yellow. I don't think that's necessarily always the case. Like you see yellow and then something bad is going to happen in that scene, because like the school has yellow windows and things, you know. But that could be part of the symbolism of the yellow here. And then we see, you know, everyone playing by the lake. This is just before Jonas and Marta become a thing, like the relationship blossoming here. There was this line about the dead woman in the lake. I don't know if, you know, that's obviously them just being playful and playing a prank, but is there actually some mythology or some history of there being a dead woman in the lake? And we will see that at some point. You know, it originated all the way back in 1921, and there was like some legend of a woman drowning in the lake. And at some point that will circle back and we'll be at that lake and a character we know is about to be drowned or something. That would be interesting if there actually is an origin to that kind of school ground rumor kind of thing. That would be really cool. And then we see Jonas finds the little medallion, St. Christopher, who is the patron saint of travelers, which is obviously very interesting. Travelers, that's the term they use for the time travelers, for the members of Sic Mundus. Within Sic Mundus, we already have that kind of religious imagery with Adam and Noah. Will there actually be a Christopher? I'm not sure. or that's just like the connection there. And then we see later on in the episode that Adam actually still has that, so he must get that back from Marta at some point, because the stranger leaves it on Marta's bed as well at one point, so he must get that back from her. And him being the Saint of Travels, that's like him keeping travelers safe. So does wearing that necklace mean like a little bit of superstition that it will keep you safe during your time travels potentially? Or would there actually be like a Christopher figure within Sigmundus who somehow keeps people safe while they are traveling? I'm not too sure about that. I don't think that would be the case. I'm not sure how that would work as well, how you would keep someone safe while traveling. But then, speaking of Sigmundus, at the end we get the older Magnus. Didn't recognize him at all at first, but I can kind of see the resemblance. And then we had someone else with him who we didn't get a name for, but my initial thought was she looks a lot like Hannah. But obviously you see Magnus with someone who, you know, I'm just assuming that they could potentially be a couple. So could that be Francesca, or is that someone else? You know, I said the resemblance to Hannah. Could it be a Carnwald? Like either someone older, like maybe even like Ines' mum, or is it someone younger, like have Jonas and Marta had a kid? I mean, there's the complications with that, obviously them being aunt and nephew, but if they had a kid, then, you know, if they had a daughter, then them having resemblance to Hannah would make a bit of sense. That's all I can think of her being, but again, there's just so many possibilities that could literally be everyone. That's just going off a little bit of Hannah resemblance that I saw in her. And then I also have the theory that Boris Nierwald Alexander Tilderman, that because his surname is Nierwald, could he like be Marta and Jonas's child? Because Carnwald and Nielsen, so Nierwald, like, is that a possibility? That could be the case. And because now we know that Magnus, when he is older, is part of Sigmundus, I feel like that maybe adds a little bit more credibility to maybe these groups we see forming at the moment, potentially developing into Sigmundus if the adults and the kids join together. And then, you know, it's the stranger who is leading them. Does that eventually become Sigmundus? Because I imagine we are probably going to see the stranger slowly morph into Adam, you know? And then speaking on Jonas, the stranger Adam, we are seeing, you know, Jonas, when he's younger, he's being manipulated by Adam. Now he's manipulated by Claudia. You know, will there be any point where he's not being manipulated by someone? And is that potentially what we're seeing with the stranger? Now the stranger is developing into Adam, and this is where Adam is finally kind of thinking for himself and has a bit of free will. But then obviously the goals of Sigmundus, we're still a bit in the dark. You know, they said the last cycle is coming and they want this apocalypse to happen, but what does that actually mean for everyone? And what actually is kind of Adam's goal? What will be the fallout of that? You know, Adam at this point, as far as we know, he's finally kind of in charge. He's not being manipulated by Adam or manipulated by Claudia. So he finally has some free will and has obviously realized something, and that's why he started Sigmundus and wanted all of this to happen, you know. He said he wants to end time itself because it's so binding, but then, like, how does that even work? And the consequences of that, does that just cause everything in existence to cease to exist, you know? And there was just like this little question still of, you know, when is the start? As they said at the start of the episode, when do things all begin truly? And because you could have actually saved Mikhail without stopping Jonas from existing, because the only prerequisite for that is that Mikkel has to go back. So you could still have Mikhail survive, not commit suicide here, and then in a few months' time, take Mikkel into the cave and take him back. Obviously, butterfly effect, things could change because of that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he had to die, you know? I feel like there is like a little bit of leeway there, right? Because those two events, they're not kind of interconnected in that way. So I feel like he could have gone on living and still had Mikkel go back and obviously eventually become him and have Jonas anyway. Obviously that Jonas, because of the butterfly effect, that would be like a different iteration on Jonas, but it would still be Jonas around. The Jonas we know would cease to exist, but there would be a Jonas in that place, I guess. So it's not like Mikhail truly had to do this to cause all of this to happen. But of course, if he does that and it's a slightly different iteration of Jonas, then there's no Jonas to exist to stop him committing the suicide and to take the Mikkel into the cave. So there still is a little bit of a paradox there, I guess. But again, we're seeing how time is almost fixed. All of these events are fixed. It's this endless cycle, always repeating. Jonas hasn't been able to change anything yet. So I think that's everything. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment. And if you really loved it, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up to date on all the future uploads. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.